Welcome to Foundation of Liberal Learning, LS 1301, University of St. Thomas, Houston. I'm just going to go through the syllabus. This course is, so the syllabus, if you just kind of click in the, where it says introduction, it'll give you a link to the syllabus and you can open that up and kind of read along with me. This course is online and asynchronous. Let me make it explicit from the very beginning. An asynchronous course means you can take this class on your own time in your own way. If you want to just speed run it and just binge all the readings and all the videos and take all the exams and everything in the first 3 weeks of the semester and then never think about it again, you can do that. I don't recommend it. You might burn out, but you're allowed to. If you want to risk it and wait until the last week or 2 weeks of the semester and just try to get everything done then, you can if you want. I don't recommend it, but as long as everything is finished and complete by the last day of the semester, and by everything complete, I mean you have taken 3 quizzes, 1 final exam, and written a term paper. I'll go through that when we get through it. But if you get all those 5 things done, then at your own time during the semester. That's what an asynchronous class means. I am Father Andrew Yonan. That is my email, yonana@sttom.edu. Feel free to email me if you have any questions or anything like that. And I try to get back to people within a day or so, maybe 2 days if I'm really busy, that they email me. So I'll try to be responsible with that. I am a priest. I'm a Catholic priest. I'm a priest of the Chaldean Catholic Church, which is one of the Eastern churches within the Catholic Church. So we follow the Pope and all that, but we just have different traditions and liturgies and stuff. My parents were both born in Baghdad, Iraq. They were married in America. We lived in Detroit, and I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and grew up there. I went to seminary at Sacred Heart Major Seminary in Detroit for 5 years, where I got my bachelor's degree Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. Then I spent 2 years at the Dominican School of Philosophy and Theology in Berkeley, California, where I got a master's degree in philosophy and a master's degree in theology. Then I was ordained a priest in 2004. I happened to be the first American-born Chaldean Catholic priest, so that's kind of special, I guess. In 2006, at the end of 2006, I moved to California. A few years after that, I was made the rector of the Chaldean Seminary here in San Diego, which I've more or less been doing since then. And I've been teaching philosophy for about 15 years. And what else is interesting about me? I write on philosophy, and I spend a lot of time translating and publishing, translations from the Chaldean tradition, stuff like that. Oh, I got my PhD in theological and religious studies at the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley, California. And I have a licentiate in canon law from the Catholic University of America, which I just did 2023. I guess that's it. There's nothing, I'm not that interesting. Anyway, course description. An introduction to the liberal arts of language, grammar, logic, and rhetoric, accompanied by an explanation of liberal learning itself and its importance. The course is interdisciplinary and may be taught from different disciplinary perspectives. So what is this course? What is Foundation of Liberal Learning or Foundations of Liberal Learning? I'm not sure what the actual title is, but I have foundations on my syllabus. It's going to talk about the liberal arts. Starting right away, the first day of class, I'm going to explain what that means. But the trivium, these 3 liberal arts of grammar, logic, and rhetoric. And I'm glad the description says it's interdisciplinary and may be taught from different disciplinary perspectives, because all kinds of people could teach this class. I mostly am a philosophy professor, so probably that's what I'm going to focus on, or that's what you're going to notice that I focus on as we go through the lectures. Speaking of the lectures, let me just I have a little note on a Blackboard. Actually, let me say this. Blackboard is the entire course. If you're not good at using Blackboard, figure it out for this course, because the entire course is there. You if you see the first like little module, this is like class number 1 or number 1, and it'll say, what is class number 1? It's titled the Liberal Arts. Under that, there are 7. I don't know why I just decided to make exactly 7 reading questions for each day of class. Under, like this, it'll say 1 liberal arts, and then it'll say, have 7 questions under it. If you click where it says 1 liberal arts, it'll take you to another screen, and there you'll get the reading that you need to do. If there's a PDF, like an alternate, another reading, you'll get that, and then you'll get the lecture video for that class. The only actual book you need to buy for this class is this, The Trivium, The Liberal Arts of Logic, Grammar, and Rhetoric by Sister Miriam Joseph. This you need to buy. All the other readings are PDFs, and they are already available on Blackboard. So you have this, and this syllabus will tell you what pages you need to read from here and any other PDFs. Do the reading, then watch the lecture, and then you can do your other work kind of after that. The 3 quizzes and the final exam are all taken from those 7 review questions from each day of class. I'm going to say this again. All the quizzes, every single question on every quiz and the exam is just me. I just copy and paste some of those exact questions word for word, and then I give you 4 options to give me the best answer for each of those questions. So if you want to study well for this class, focus on those questions, and you should do fine. If you take notes and do the reading and stuff like that, you should do fine. The quizzes the answers will be kind of deliberately tricky, just to kind of filter through the people that actually did the reading and studying versus the people that are trying to guess it. So even if like, oh, that seems like an obvious answer, I'm going to be a little bit tricky to make sure you actually know the answer that is in the reading or is in the lecture. The lectures will spell out the answers exactly as I want them. So really focus on the lecture videos. That being said, there are several optional lecture videos that you'll see on each day of class. Those really are optional. You don't have to ever click those, and you can ace this class without ever looking at those. They're just there for your interest if you're interested. Learning outcomes. Students will understand the nature of liberal education as the Catholic intellectual tradition understands it. They will correctly identify the 8 major parts of speech and the ways in which those parts of speech can be combined into sentences with punctuation. Students will formulate good definitions suitable to the topic or argument at hand. They will classify categorical propositions. They will identify the parts of the syllogism. They will be able to employ the 3 parts of rhetoric, invention, organization, and style, persuasive writing. This could potentially be such a boring class. And I have tried very hard. I'm recording this video after I've done almost all the lectures. The only one I have left I'm going to do hopefully tonight is number 14 on leisure and contemplation. But I've done the lecture. I've really tried hard to make them as interesting as possible. Grammar is just a boring topic, so the class on grammar is going to be a little bit boring. Just grit your teeth, get through it the way I did when I recorded it. Logic, I actually think, is a pretty interesting topic, so I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Rhetoric is very interesting. What those 3 different disciplines are, or these liberal arts are, is going to be part of the topic of the first and second day of class, so I don't want to go into that yet. Course materials is, as I said, that book, and then everything else will be provided via Blackboard. The grade for this class: 3 quizzes, a term paper, and a final exam. Each of them is 20% of your final grade. That's it. 5 times 20 is 100. Academic honesty: don't cheat. Don't use ChatGPT or whatever, any kind of AI to write your paper. And your paper, I have very, very specific things that I require you to do for your paper, which I'll go into in a second. I'll just read the last sentence of the academic honesty paragraph. The term paper is an important exercise that can teach you a lot. Someone paid for this course. I don't know if it was you or your parents or your student loan. Somebody paid for it, even if it was a scholarship. Somebody's paying for you to take this course. Get something out of it. And the paper is you learn so much doing those papers. So that's my pitch to you to actually do it. The quizzes, weirdly enough, AI is not going to help you at all. If you didn't do the studying, you're not going to know the answers. However, that being said, they are closed book, closed note. So I guess I kind of have to trust you on that. Disabilities, you can read through that and send me any accommodation forms you have to my email address. Okay. Next page of the syllabus is the schedule of readings. This is what we're going to work through. Class number 1. Now, I very strongly suggest you pace yourself. There are 16 classes listed on the syllabus. There are 16 weeks in a semester. So I paced it out so that you do 1 class a week. As I said, if you want to just binge this thing and just get it all done in a month, go for it. Knock yourself out. But this is the order that I would like you to do it because I refer to earlier things in later videos. So at least follow this order. Again, do the reading that's on the right side. Do this first, then watch the lecture. Please do it in that order. It'll make more sense to do it that way. Topics are as follows. The liberal arts, class 1. Then a week on grammar, or a class on grammar. Then we're going to go into logic. Logic is broken up into a few classes. A class on terms, then a class on propositions, then a class on categorical syllogisms, then one on hypothetical syllogisms, then one on fallacies. All that is about logic. What any of that means, you'll see when you click on that link and you watch those lectures. Then we're going to spend basically the rest of the semester on rhetoric. Rhetoric is the art of persuasion. Different types of speeches, how to evoke emotions when you're writing or you're speaking, forms of argument, how to organize a paper or a speech. And then the last day of class and the first day of class are kind of exceptional. First day of class, I talk about what the liberal arts are. The last lecture is going to be on leisure and contemplation, why we should want to live an intellectual life and a life, and what exactly a life of leisure really means. Okay, the readings are there. If it says the trivium, that means it's this book. If it's anything other than the trivium, it's another reading that's a PDF on Blackboard. You see the quizzes and where I recommend you take them. I recommend you take quiz 1 after class number 4, after you've learned that material. It's inclusive of classes 1 through 4. Quiz 2, I recommend you take it after class 7. Quiz 3, I recommend you take after class 11. The 3 quizzes are non-inclusive. So the quiz 1 is only on classes 1 through 4. Quiz 2 is only on classes 5, 6, and 7. Quiz 3 is only on classes 8, 9, 10, and 11. But the final exam is comprehensive. So the final exam will be on the entire course. Probably, I haven't written the quizzes yet, I'll probably do it tomorrow. Probably the way the quizzes will work. Each one is worth 20%. I will copy and paste the review questions that are there on Blackboard. I'll select from them. Each quiz will have 10 questions. This is the way I'm anticipating that I'll write this. Each quiz will have 10 questions, and all of them will be multiple choice. Each of those questions is worth 2% of your final grade in the class. Kind of intense, but that's just the way it is. Your final exam will have 20 questions. I'm guessing what I'll do is I'll take 5 questions from each of the first 3 quizzes, and then I'll write 5 new questions on the latest material. So the final exam will probably be 20 questions, each one worth 1% of your final grade. Let's talk about, I talked about the readings. The schedule above is just a suggestion. Just work at your own pace. Just make sure everything is done by the last day of the semester, which I don't exactly know, but look it up on the academic calendar. I think it's December 10th, but don't quote me on that. Quizzes and exam are on Blackboard and are closed book, closed note. They're made up of the reading questions posted for each day of class. They're deliberately tricky. So unless you did the reading, watched the lecture, and studied your notes, you might run into some problems, and that's exactly why people get lower grades. So that's the way it should be. Term paper. Here's what you are eventually going to work towards in the term paper, which I want somewhere by the end of the semester. Your paper must be a deliberative speech. If you don't know what that is, pay attention when I talk about it. You are to write a deliberative speech attempting to convince me, Father Andy, to make a decision. Make it about something you care about, or at least something funny. Examples. You're trying to convince me to vote for a political party of your choice. You're going to write a deliberative speech to me about that. You're trying to convince me to go to graduate school, which I've done 3 times already, and I don't want to do again. Try to talk me into doing it again. You're trying to convince me to buy a Taylor Swift album, or to not buy a Taylor Swift album. I don't know. Trying to convince me to choose creamy peanut butter instead of crunchy. Whatever it is, find a topic, a deliberative speech, which means there is a choice to be made. You're not trying to convince me that something is true or not true. You're trying to convince me to choose something, which includes certain things being true or not true. But there's a difference between an argumentative paper and a deliberative speech. And you will learn that by the end of the class. In this speech, show off what you've learned in the course. Clarify definitions. We're going to talk about how to do that on class number 3. Use a logical syllogism or argument. We're going to spend 3 weeks on different ways to make arguments. Present evidence and do it in an organized way. Manipulate my emotions. We have a whole day of class on how to evoke emotions, class number 11. Use that stuff. Organize it well, which we have a whole class on organization, class number 13. What it means to organize a paper well or a speech well is give me section headings. Section 1, introduction. Just put that in the paper. Show me. I want to visually see that you've thought about and organized and outlined this paper. And use the stuff that you're going to, especially the readings from Kreider, the Office of Assertion. They're all PDFs. Those are excellent readings on how to write a good paper. If you do what he says to do in that book, you're going to ace this paper. Okay? Finally, have fun writing it, and I'll have fun reading it. 1,200 to 1,500 words. Okay? So those are the assignments. That's the syllabus. I introduced myself. I guess that's about it. So do the reading and enjoy the first video, and that's it. Peace out.